So in this particular chapter, what we are going to do is we are going to learn lots and lots of ethics and how is ethics relevant towards the accounting and business. Understand this. Ethics is very, 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 very important in your complete life. In fact, in every point of your life, you'll be finding ethics at different stages. If you see, a lawyer who becomes a lawyer, he has to go through these ethics tests. Ethics will be there in his syllabus. Uh, because what happens is a lawyer has must make sure that justice is prevailed. Yes or no? Lawyer must make sure, a judge must make sure that justice prevail. A doctor must make sure that proper health care is given to this patient. The patient is not cheated. A teacher must make sure that proper education is imparted. And then what next? An
Chartered accountant.
accountant must make sure that proper entries and details are made up so that there is no fraud or error. A banker must make sure that he is doing justice to his business. An engineer must make sure that whatever he is constructing, it must be, according to all those proper stuff which is to be put into. He should put this right stuff so that there is no accidents. An engineer, when he's making a vehicle, he must make sure that it is properly tested and it is good for the people to drive it. So in short, it should be good for all, and this can happen if people are ethical enough in doing their work. All right. In fact, everyone has to go through this particular ethics. Even I remember in 2012, when I was taught particular this ethics, what did they say us is that ethics is something which will come in your examination for 20 marks, and it is completely theory. So read it yourself and finish it off. Now understand this. It is not at all something which is theory which you can read and pass. This is something which you need to apply. This is something which you need to apply. Now, in your ethics, you'll not be getting just straightforward questions. Is this person ethical enough or not? They'll give you a situation, they'll create a scenario. In that scenario, they'll ask you what is your opinion here, and your opinion matters. They'll make a situation like this whether you want to take it or not. For example, there's one person who's going for an interview. I've said it many a times. One person who's going for an interview on a dockyard. All right. I hope you all know what's a dockyard, where ships come and load and unload the goods out there. Now, there needs to be a dockyard manager. They are hiring for a dockyard manager, and in the interview, the interviewer says him that there are 23 ships which have just come. Okay, there are 23 ships which have come. I want you to report 20 ships have come. Will you do it? Will you do it? Now, the person who has come for the interview, he is a person who is going through lots and lots of difficulties in his life, lots and lots of personal difficulties in his life, lots, huge difficulties in his life, and he needs this job by hook or crook. And the interviewer is telling him that 23 ships have come to the dockyard. I want you to report 20 ships at the dockyard. If you do so, I'll give you the job. Straightforward, he's telling you. If you report 20 ships, I'll give you the job. And I don't want you to answer me now. You can come tomorrow and answer. You can come tomorrow and answer. Now, when he's telling that you have to come tomorrow and answer, he goes back home. He talks with his wife. They discuss about how important this job is. But just because this job is important, shall I agree with the interviewer or shall I not agree with the interviewer? For my benefit, shall I ruin others' benefit? Shall I report less? Shall I report more? Or shall I report whatever it is, whatever has happened, I want to report? So, with the whole complete sleepless night, he thinks about के अरे कैसा करेंगे इतने खर्चे हैं, these all stuff is there. And at the end of the day, tomorrow when it comes, he goes to the interviewer and says that I will report 23 ships only, happen what may. How many ever ships came, I reported that only. Whatever is the actual things which are happening, I will report that only. Now, when he is doing the as such, what's happening here is the interviewer says that yes, you are hired now. The interviewer says what? You are hired now. What did the interviewer say next? Is nothing but we wanted to test you in this pressure situation. We wanted to test you in this pressure situation. We knew that you had so and so many problems. We wanted to see, because of those problems, will you compromise on the work? But you did not compromise on the work, so you are hired. You did not compromise on the work, that's why you are hired. Now, when you are hired, they also say that there were 20 other people, 20 other people who were interviewed before you. All 20 people said that whatever we said them to do, they did it. But we did not want that type of a person. We wanted that type of a person who would report whatever has happened and however it has happened. All right. I hope you guys are getting it.
Sir.
This is how you will be tested at times. Now let's move forward. You can see here business ethics and their importance. I guess we have discussed it all again already. Ethical dilemmas involves the same thing which I've just said. Shall we do it? Is it right or not? Shall I report it or not? Shall I report it or not? That type of stuff. Then you can see production issues. Should should the company certain produce like gun, pornography, tobacco, alcohol? These all are wrong things. All right. Should it be done ethical enough? No, not at all ethical enough. Should the company be concerned about the effects? Yes, they should be concerned about the effects. Company tests its products on animals. Should they be concerned? Yes, they should be. Then anti-competitive behavior, illegal or maybe more subtle. What is this? Is nothing but pricing things. Anti-competitive behavior means you are killing your competition. Killing your competition means that's again illegal. You must not do these type of predator pricing. Predator pricing is nothing but आप कोई प्रोडक्ट का जो सो प्राइस इतना गिरा देते कि जो कॉम्पिटिटर है आपका he is out of the business, he become goes out of the business. Okay. Then targeting children at Christmas, fast food, expensive toys, bad. Products be advertised by junk mail, spam mail, Zomato. I don't know when, who introduced this no cooking July, no cooking August. Do you get messages like this?
Yes, sir.
Every month is no cooking, for according to them, and you need to buy online. Now, personal HRM issues. Employees should be favored or discriminated. Should never be done actually. The contract of employment must offer fair balance of power between employee and employer. The workplace must be safe and healthy place to operate in. But does that happen? These all things do not happen actually. It means everything followed very less, very less. That's scarce. Now, approaches to ethics. There are several possible approaches to making these decisions. Number one is consequentialist approach. Now understand this. What is this? Consequentialist. Consequentialist. Consequentialist approach. Can you guys pronounce it? Consequentialist.
Consequentialist.
Now, this approach that a decision is right or wrong depending on consequences or outcomes of that decision. As long as the outcome is right, action itself is irrelevant. This is one type of a person who is thinking about it. Now, जैसे कि हमको आज़ादी चाहिए थी, do whatever you have to get freedom. The consequence was freedom. So whatever action you had made, if you had to kill people, if you have to destroy something, you did it because your actions did not matter. What your outcome was mattered. See, if an individual has to feed his family, he can steal according to consequentialist approach. This approach can be broken down into further perspective. Number one is egoism. The action is morally correct as long as the outcome is favorable for the individual making the decision. And utilitarianism, you can see here, the action is considered to be more morally correct if the outcome is favored for the greatest number of people or the greatest good. अगर वो सबकी अच्छाई हो रही है और उसके अंदर आपका डिसीजन कुछ ऊपर नीचे कुछ हो रहा है, then it is not a problem. Then it is not a problem. That is what consequentialist is telling. I hope that you guys are making notes out of it. For instance, if an accountant is asked to cover up a major fraud within the company they work for, an egoist approach to ethics may lead to accountant refusing to do so. This would be because if the fraud is discovered at a later date, the accountant risks serious penalties. Yes or no? This is egoism. From a utilitarian point of view, keeping quiet is also likely to be unacceptable as the fraud may well damage the returns to shareholders and could put the livelihoods of employees at risk. As such, reporting the fraud is likely to benefit a greater number of people rather than allowing it to continue. So this is consequentialist approach. Then comes pluralist approach. I hope you guys are making notes out of it. Notes, notes, notes. Very important. Now, now what it says, it is for all stakeholders without seriously compromising the interest of any one group. Without compromising the interest of any one group, they'll make sure that everything is taken care of. For example, a mining company may wish to open a new mine in order to access minerals deposits and earn its shareholders a large profit. However, the pollution caused by the mine will be a big time problem. Yes or no? Because the mine will be opened, but they will be having major issues over it. All right, are you guys there with me?
Yes, sir.
Now moving forward, you can see here relativist versus ये pluralist तो समझ में आया ना. What he wants is nothing but for the greater good of all people. Okay, then uh, the next one, relativist versus absolutist. मतलब कि relativism में मतलब कि the view is that no universal moral code which to judge all actions. This means that whether something can be classified as ethical or not depends on the circumstances. Okay, depends on what? Circumstances. जैसे कि मर्डर करना गलत है या नहीं, है या नहीं? क्या
गलत है।
गलत है ना? But if suppose one person was killing you and he was a complete predator, and in reverse you are killing him, now it's fine.
Yes.
No, because the situation is changing. Killing someone is not good, but if suppose you're killing someone in a battle, in a proper battle, in a war, in a battle, then
It's
that
fine.
becomes the right. वो लोग को शहीद का भी दर्जा मिलता. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
At
Yes.
at times I really wonder. Okay, that is relativism. Then comes absolutism. Certain actions are inherently right or wrong, regardless of the context or the circumstances that they occur in. मतलब कि वो गलत है तो गलत है. See, here what it says: if you do a murder, whether it is in self-defense or it was a murder, it is irrelevant. A murder is a murder. You have killed someone. Who says this? Absolutism. Absolutely wrong. This is his approach. That is relativism's approach. This is this approach. I hope you guys are getting it. Those situations है वो. Then note that absolutism is linked to the idea of deontological ethics. This is linked to the word of German philosopher Immanuel Kant, who suggests that when faced with an ethical dilemma, an individual must look at the action being considered and deciding if it is inherently right or wrong. It ignores the consequences of the decision made and instead focus on individual meeting their moral duties, which is nothing but pluralist type of a person. That different type of illustrations and all which you guys can go through. Consequentialist, pluralist, relativist, absolutist. Everybody has their own type of things. जैसे कि ये देखो, Joe is a manager of company A. He has 20 employees who report to him and he has been told that he needs to reduce the number by 1. एक को निकालना है. Joe decides that rather making a member of staff redundant, he will instead reduce each employee's hours by 1/12, thereby keeping everyone in the job. किसका, what type of a he is? Is he egoist, pluralist, or utilitarian? What is he?
Pluralist.
Pluralist, right? Because he's thinking about all. Are you guys there with me?
Yes.
Notes बना रहे हो आप? Are you guys making notes out of it? Very important chapter. Big chapter also. Now, let's move forward. Why business ethics are important, I've explained it at the start of the class itself. क्यों लॉयर को एथिक्स ज़रूरी होता है, क्यों डॉक्टर को एथिक्स ज़रूरी होता है, क्यों इन सबको एथिक्स ज़रूरी होता है? ताकि जस्टिस इज सर्व्ड, इंसाफ हो. But in today's time, we see these people only killing ethics. We see ethics only in the books. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. In hospitals, they are patients overcharged. Sometimes not even treated because not paid on time. Justice is not prevailed. Justice does not get served. Gets delayed many a times. Yes or no?
Yes.
Structures which are made nowadays, structures which are made nowadays are tend to fall more than which were made thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. For example, Taj Mahal, Charminar, Red Fort, ये सब अभी भी खड़े हुए हैं ना. But you see the roads which were made few years ago, they are gone. और कहाँ gone? एक बारिश हुई, दो बारिश हुई, the roads are gone. Yes or no? क्यों? क्यों हो रहा है ऐसा? बताओ यार, क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है?
Cheap cement.
Lack of quality, sir. No proper plan to.
Lack of quality, full of corruption, not putting the right amount of input required. वही ना डालते.
Yes.
जब वो डालेंगे नहीं तो फिर रिजल्ट आएगा कैसा? Lots and lots of what? Corruption. Big time corruption. Now with that corruption, what happens? Ethics के धजियां उड़ रही है. Okay, like charging to customers. Unethically, people are charging to the customers. Yes or no? Yes. जैसे कि आईफोन है. आईफोन है ना. In some country it is charged something, in some other country it is charged something else. Petrol, in some country it is charged less, in some country it is charged way more. Okay. Ethics is for an organization highly important so that the organization runs properly. Because if ethics is not there, then what is there? Corruption.
Illegal activity.
Yes, illegal activities, corruption, and corruption leads to. Now, do you know that corruption is not only in the government? Corruption is there in almost every part of each and every part of the world. Corruption is there available. Each and every part of the world, corruption is available. Just say, for example, because everybody wants to benefit themselves, everybody has some or the other things to fulfill in their life, and they do not find proper means to do it. Now, when they do not find proper means to do it, what do? They take the easier route. Rather than studying and developing themselves, what do? They take the
Corruption.
easier route of taking something under the table. Have you found it anywhere? कभी देखे आप लोग जिंदगी में corruption real time in front of you? Yes or no? बताओ. कभी पासपोर्ट बनाने गए कोई? तुम लोग तो वैसे तो you guys would have not seen it. But have you heard about passport banana from your elders? How big a task it was? Nowadays it has been okay, fine, but in those days, a big time task. Aadhaar card, when it was made, how big time task it was to make. And how it used to happen inside, that is a different issue. Now let's move forward. Why business ethics are important? See, fair trade mark is a label on consumer products that guarantees that disadvantages producers in the developing world are getting a fair deal. In fact, let me just give you an example rather than on this example. An example from I hope you guys have seen this thing which I have said you and did that. In fact, I have said it to you earlier also. In 2008 recession, what happened? Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, they received what? A grant from the government, an investment from the government. How could they receive it? Why? Because they had their ex-employees, ex-employees in the US government. Now, when they had that, they received this. What do you think this is? Ethical or not?
No, sir.
Not at all, right? It's been explained properly. Then you see this use of social media, the social dilemma. What they are doing, they are creating people like you. They are creating predictive analysis like you. What you want to do next, they know it better than you. All right. They know when you are going to lift your phone up and you are going to do stuff. Who knows it? Who knows this? Social media knows it. Are they ethical enough? No, not at all. Then comes professional ethics. I'm telling you, everyone needs to have this profession. Mastering specialized skill, governance by professional organization, compliance with ethical code, acting in the public interest. Public interest. Acting in which interest?
Public interest.
Public interest. जो public के लिए सही है वो करना है आपको. Process of certification being awarded to pass ACCA is one of them. Now, for that, what do they have is nothing but they have a professional code of ethics. Now, professional code of ethics क्या है ये? International Federation of Accountants have made this. IFAC, C for Council, International Federation of Accountants Council or Confederation. Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants. तो उसके अंदर क्या क्या है देखो यहाँ पे IFAC Code of Ethics. What do they have? Number one is integrity. Now I'll explain it here itself. Will not be required to read it line by line. Then integrity talks about what? That you should be self-sufficient enough. You should not be like accepting any gifts. Accepting any gifts from the client. For example, you are auditing some stuff of Vijay Mallya and Vijay Mallya says that अरे ये सब तो चलते रहेगा. Chalo, let's go and watch a match and something like this. I'll offer you this ticket and all hospitality from our side. What will happen? Will that affect your independence? 100% it will affect your independence. 100% it will affect your independence. In fact, your integrity is defined based on how much effort you are ready to put in and how much independent you are. The moment your independence is compromised, integrity comes into picture. Your integrity is gone. Then comes the next thing, objectivity. Whatever is required, you should do it with that objective only. You should not be like just you've been appointed as an auditor. Okay, you've been appointed as an auditor. You should work in terms of an auditor only. You should not be going beyond that interest. Okay, some people, what do they do? कि चलो मैं I am an auditor. Let me provide them tax advice. Let me provide them something which is more required. Let me provide them that also, this also. When you do this, what happens is you're violating what? You're violating ऑब्जेक्टिविटी. जितना काम आपको दिया गया है उतना काम करना जरूरी है. हर काम करना जरूरी नहीं है. Are you guys getting it? Are you guys there with me? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then next आता
Yes.
professional competence and due care. Next क्या है? Professional competence and due
Due
care.
care.
Now, this professional competence and due care, what it is? Whenever you are learning something, you need to make sure that you are updated with it. You are updated with it. जैसे कि ACCA है, just learning ACCA, right? What happens here is you need to go through proper learning and development of your professional skill set. ठीक है? Suppose you've learned your skill set in this year 2021. Suppose tomorrow, 10 years down the line in 2031, there is another skill which has come into the market. What will you say? Arey, I've already learned this in 2021. I don't need to learn it again. Or why do I have to learn this something new? Will you say that, or will you quietly learn it because it will be advantageous for you and your organization? Will
Learn
you
it,
learn?
bro.
Yes, you will learn and you have to learn. But if you don't learn, then you're violating what? Professional competence and due care. You are violating that. Are you guys getting it?
Yes.
Yes,
The
sir.
importance of professional competence and due care. You need to develop yourself time to time. You cannot say that अरे I've learned it previously, फिर से पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. This type of stuff is not at all accepted. Then next you can see here. Next is what? Confidentiality. See, there are some stuff which are not to be shared with anyone outside the organization, or sometimes anyone in the organization also, because if it is shared then there is no confidentiality, and then when there is no confidentiality, then what has happened is you have done something called insider trading or insider dealing, which is again a big time problem for the organization. Which one? Insider trading, insider dealing is a big time problem for the organization. Now, for example, यहाँ पे अगर आप देखो, what has happened in this insider trading and all type of stuff. There is some information which is private and not available to public. And suppose you are making that information public, प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट हुई या नहीं हुई बताओ. इज देयर अ प्रॉब्लम और नॉट?
There is a problem.
बिग टाइम प्रॉब्लम. क्यों? क्योंकि वो एक कॉन्फिडेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन है एंड यू आर जस्ट लीकिंग इट आउटसाइड, which will affect the business long time. Yes or no? Yes. Now, what is the last one? Last IFAC code of ethics. What is it?
Professional behavior.
Exactly. It is always required. In fact, do you know that the first thing which will be done if you are not found doing work properly, if you are not found doing work properly, what will they do first is nothing but cancel your ACCA certificate, cancel your ACCA membership. Now, what all things can be there in a professional behavior? There are so many things you can't even imagine. Suppose if you meet with a traffic accident and you are reacting to that situation adversely, you are losing out your temper, you are angry, you are furious there. And if the body is finding out that, they'll give you few warnings. After that, what they'll do is nothing but straightforward, they'll cancel your certificate, the membership number. Suppose you are not at all behaving professionally, you are going towards social media, digital accounts, and you are showing your anger there. What will they do first is nothing but remove you from the membership. Something or the other, you should be behaving professionally. because you are representing the body. If found that you are not representing them properly, you will be removed. Is that clear to everyone? All five.
Yes.
And these five fundamental principles of IFAC Code of Ethics will be there in management accounting, financial accounting, corporate business law, taxation, performance management, financial reporting, audit assurance, financial management, strategic business leader, SBR. Every paper it will be there available. For every paper you have to read and understand this also. Each and every paper. Very, 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 very important for you to go through it and complete it also. Fine. What we have done is nothing but हम उनको अलग अलग करके पढ़ लिए हैं already. So let's just move forward. Compliance is very important with these fundamental principles. See here, students, affiliates, and members who are in doubt as to their correct course of action in specific ethical dilemmas should contact the ACCA for guidance. For those failing to observe the standards expected of them, may be called before ACCA's disciplinary committee and required to explain their conduct all the time. Remember this. ACCA will call up and ask you that why this, why not that. ACCA disciplinary commission will sit down and see what you've done right or wrong. Understanding? Then, role of accountant in promoting ethical behavior. The accountant should work under which interest? Whose interest should the accountant work?
Public and
Public interest, whether it is good for the public at large or not. Whether it is good for public at large or not, सबके लिए ये बेहतर है या नहीं है. Who should think? An accountant, a person who is doing ACCA should think of that whether it is good for the public at large or not. Then corporate code of ethics. Previously, what did we do? Which code of ethics did we do? IFAC code of ethics, which is mandatory. Then comes what? Corporate code of ethics. Now, this corporate code of ethics is nothing but your internal policies of the organization, internal things which they have set down. Now, there is no such standard in this. Every organization has their own corporate code of ethics. Now, when you are there, what you have to do is nothing but you have to follow these corporate code of ethics also, and you have to also follow your IFAC fundamental principles. Suppose any time if these two conflict, your corporate code of ethics is conflicting with the fundamental principles of ethics, what do you think will prevail? Which will be followed? Tell me. Which rules will be followed? Either we will follow the corporate code of ethics or shall we follow the fundamental principles? Come on, guys.
Fundamental principles.
Fundamental principles. Few fundamental principles are made by the body at large for maximum people. उसके बाद क्या करें वो लोग? They made their own corporate type of ethics. Now when these corporate ethics is there, what do? They created of their own. मतलब अपने अपने हिसाब से compliance बना लो. जैसे compliance is nothing but whether you are following the law or not, whether law is followed properly or not, whether things are followed properly or not. These are to be looked into. That is compliance. The purpose of code of ethics. Code of ethics नहीं रहे तो जो दिल में आया हर कोई वही करेंगे. अगर प्रॉपर ऐसा रहेगा कि these are the things, this is how the things are to be done, then people will do it in the right way. Otherwise हर एक का ये तुम fault पे है, तुम fault पे है, this will be keeping on going. Now there is another illustration for it, and the test understanding also for it, which you guys can do it. Now coming up towards the ethical threats and dilemmas. Threat of ethics. There is always threat of self-interest threat. This could occur where a financial or other interest influences an accountant's judgment and cause a conflict of interest. For example, by overstating the profit of a company they work for, an accountant may receive higher pay or bonuses. अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस, क्योंकि हायर पे हायर बोनस मिलेगा बल्कि आपको जो है सो अकाउंटिंग को पंप अप कर दो, सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट, देन सेल्फ रिव्यू थ्रेट, आप ही एग्जाम लिखो और आप ही जो है सो क्रॉस चेक कर लो आपका एग्जाम, हाउ मच मार्क्स विल यू गेट, मैक्सिमम मार्क्स विल गेट, यस और नो. If you are going to evaluate your own answer sheet, you'll get 100 out of 100, right? या फिर किसी को भी शक नहीं होना बल्कि 99 you'll put it, yes or no. Now, advocacy can be a problem if an accountant is promoting a position or opinion to the point where the subsequent objectivity is compromised. Understand this, there are organizations which need to put down confidentiality. And if that confidentiality is not there, then it is a big, big time problem. Okay? If confidentiality is not there, it's a big time problem. Few days back, or a month or 1.5 months back, I was, if you guys remember, interviewing one of our student. Now, while I was interviewing one of our student, he actually got a job in a big four. We did not reveal the position of what he has got. We did not reveal which big four he has joined, which department he has joined, what is his salary. These all things were not at all disclosed. Why? Because if you do that, so then what happens is nothing but your information gets compromised. And if that information gets compromised, then what happens is you may be out from that job. If someone finds out that you have done this, then you will be completely kicked out from that job. Then comes familiarity threat. Sympathetic to people that are apne hi aadmi hai na, you me are the same only. Mana mana mokate, that type of feeling will come. You and
नेपोटिज्म.
नेपोटिज्म, हाँ नेपोटिज्म भी बोल सकते, थोड़ा थोड़ा favoritism you can say rather than nepotism. All right. Intimidation threat is nothing but just influencing the situation by threatening. Big time problem. Intimidation threat, for example, this happens most in your degree colleges. If you don't respect me, I'll not give you attendance. I've seen this done in degree colleges. सबसे पहले तो ये एक बकवास रूल है अटेंडेंस मैंडेटरी रखने का. जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दिस. Is it mandatory for you guys to come to this class? No, right? You are coming out of what? You're coming out of what? Is someone forcing you?
No, sir.
No, right? You all are coming out of interest. But if suppose someone is threatening you and putting you in this class, you have to study. If you don't study, you'll be out of this home. Is someone coming like that? No one. So this intimidation threat is always there. Now, moving forward, safeguard against these ethical threats. What you need to do is nothing but make sure that you go through lots and lots of trainings, understanding the importance, that why ethics is so important, what will happen if you do not follow the right ethics, creation of corporate governance. Anyhow, we are going to learn it in the next chapter, what it is and how we need to do it. Then professional or regulatory monitoring and disciplinary procedures, setting of professional standards. If you do so, what happens is nothing but we create proper environment for ethics to be practiced. Okay. And then safeguards against ethical threats of the business. There are 6 values that organization can apply in order to accomplish this. They can be easily remembered by the acronym HOTTER. Now what it says: honesty, openness, transparency, trust, empowerment, and respect. These are the things which are to be given to everyone, or should be practiced in the organization mostly, so that you can safeguard these ethical threats. You should be honest enough in the organization. You need to be honest enough in whatever you're doing. You should be open enough in whatever you're doing, so that what happens, if you are open enough, what happens, there's no sense of अरे मेरा राज किसी को कुछ मालूम हो जाएगा, these type of things won't be there. Then transparency in work to be done. Then there should be trust created in dealings. People should trust people. Then only that type of environment gets created. You empower each other matlab ki you give respect and empower each other. This is all, both the two things which are getting covered up. Giving respect to someone and also empowering them to do go ahead and achieve it is big time you know better for you all. Moving forward towards dealing with unethical or illegal conduct, what should you do if you have found out anything which is a problem? What you need to do is nothing but understand this. I'm giving you the answer here. If you find out that there is something wrong happening in the organization, what you need to do is nothing but communicate with your next supervisor. Communicate with whom? Next superior supervisor to you. You should communicate with that person. But if you find out that he is also involved in that unethical or illegal conduct, what you need to do is nothing but contact to a much senior person. And then if you find out that he's also there in that, then you find out more much other senior people, find them out and then tell them about this. All right. Now when you do so, what you're doing is nothing but you are not actually going out to public and telling it. You are doing what? You are doing the right formula on which you need to do it. What? See, the accountant should consult with whomever is responsible, the governments of ethics within the organ. This may be compliance officer, board of directors, something like that. If see nowhere he's telling that go outside, go towards the press, go towards the public, seek out help over internet. No, no, you must never do it. If you do it, then you will be held for confidentiality. If the problem remains unsolved, the accountant should take legal advice from the ACCA body itself. ACCA sits for you to see all these ethical problems which are coming your side. If the situation still cannot be resolved, the accountant should consider reporting to the relevant authorities and withdrawing from the engagement, because this has been a big time problem for you. Understanding? Ethical issues are rarely clear cut in the real world. There may not be only one correct approach to take. In the exam, make sure you read ethics scenarios and options you are given carefully. Make sure you don't suggest a course of action that would breach the fundamental principles. Fundamental principles क्या है? थोड़ा जल्दी जल्दी बताओ मुझे. What are the fundamental principles? Come on, guys. What are the 5 fundamental principles? जल्दी जल्दी बताओ.
Integrity,
Integrity,
Confidentiality.
confidentiality,
professional behavior,
objectivity, professional behavior. Last वाला जल्दी बताओ.
professional competence and due care.
Competence and due care. These are the 5 fundamental IFAC code of ethics which you must never ever forget in your life. All right. So we have come towards the end of this chapter. Now let's go ahead towards the next chapter. All the test and understandings which are there remaining in this particular chapter, I want you guys to do it and come out with the answers to me at the earliest. All right. So let's get started with the next chapter. So in this particular session, if you see corporate governance and social responsibilities in business, not only corporate governance, they are talking about only governance, but it is understood that it is actually corporate governance. अब यहाँ से let us take things forward from here. I guess this is a small or a big chapter, I don't remember, but let's see. This is something which is always required in business. And what is that? Separation. Separation of what? The person who is the owner and the person who manages it. See, a owner, if he's doing work, it will depend on his mood. Whether I have to do it or not, depending on his current mood only, whether he wants to do that work. But businesses are not run based on mood, right? कि अब मुझे करने का दिल बोल रहा है तो मैं करूंगा, अब नहीं दिल बोल रहा है तो नहीं करूंगा. It won't be. Managers are like those people who are paid for doing the work done. If they don't do the work, they'll not get paid. And when they are not going to be get paid, then they'll make sure that they make the work done. Now, this situation tends to occur in the larger companies where there are maybe many external stakeholders who play no role in the day-to-day running of the company. This separation can bring benefits for both the parties so that they are efficient enough and the work is ongoing on the clock all the time. But here you have one big time problem, which is called the agency problem. You know, one person, have you seen people running businesses? Have you guys seen people running businesses? Have you seen those people only doing all the work? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
हर पूरा काम वो लोग ही करते.
हाँ सर.
क्या होता मालूम, वो लोग ही करते एक दिन थक के बैठ जाते और बिजनेस भी उनके साथ ही बैठ जाता. वो लोग क्या सोचते कि एजेंसी का प्रॉब्लम है. एजेंसी प्रॉब्लम इन द सेंस, if you tell someone to do the work, they will not do it. They assume that. Understand this. The boards of a large quoted company may hold a board meeting and vote themselves huge salaries, bonus shares if modest profitability targets are achieved, and contractual terms granting each of them huge compensation payments if they are dismissed. These are in the best interest of the directors, but not in the best interest of the shareholders who own the company, in whose interest the directors are meant to be working. हो सकता क्या ऐसा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में? यस, 100% हो सकता. स्टीव जॉब्स को जो है उसी की कंपनी से निकाल दिया वो लोग. ही वाज रिमूव्ड, किक्ड आउट मेयरली. क्या नहीं हो सकता? 100% these directors of that particular company can give themselves big shares and all those stuff. The problems of directors not operating in the company's best interest can be solved by aligning the interests of the directors and interests of the company. In fact, it is done for employees and the organization also. Aligning what? Their interest with company's interest. Their interest with company's interest, then only there is success happening. But if suppose your interest is something else, the company's interest is something else, will you survive in that company? Will you survive in that company?
No.
Never. I hope you guys have had some food before coming to the class. Maybe early in the morning or just in the break which I had given. And believe me, guys, believe me, today is a Monday morning. And Monday morning, you should be with lots and lots of efforts in you. Understand this. I'll tell this 100 times. Your motivation, your inspiration should come from inside. If it is coming from outside, it means that you do not need it. It means what? You do not need it. It should come from inside. It should come from what? Inside. आप लोग को बस आंसर करना है. मैं जो जो पूछ रहा हूँ आपको बस उसको आंसर करो. Or if you are in the class, make sure that you are in a seated position. Okay. थोड़ा ही वक्त है, क्लास खत्म हो जाएगी थोड़ी देर में, फिर आराम से सो जाओ. But for now, be attentive. Now see this. The separation of ownership and control refers to the fact that the owners of a company are always different people to the directors of the company. Is this statement true or false?
True, sir.
True, sir.
It should be. All right. But what it said, always. Always ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? Then sometimes always तो नहीं. क्यों? क्योंकि देखो, is Mukesh Ambani the shareholder of Reliance?
Yes.
Is he also part of the board of directors?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो फिर always कैसा हो गया? So the statement is
False.
true if this always को निकाल के हम लोग मोस्टली अगर लिख दिए, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स अगर लिखिए, तो ये स्टेटमेंट ट्रू हो सकता. बट ऑलवेज मीन्स चला गया स्टेटमेंट. ओके. देन कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस क्या करते हैं? देखो, व्हाट हैपेंस इज देयर इज अ गवर्निंग बॉडी. व्हिच बॉडी?
Governing body.
Body in the organization itself, which organize, and that in that they are independent. They are independent. Consider two formal definitions of corporate governance. Is a system by which the companies are directed and controlled. कब आया ये? The Cadbury report, the financial aspects of corporate governance, 1992 में. तब की बात है ये. Involves a set of relationship between the company's management, its boards, its shareholders, and stakeholders. Corporate governance also provides the structure through which the objectives of the companies are set and the means of attaining those objectives and monitoring performance are determined. मतलब कि पूरा structure and organization कैसा चलना. The OECD Principles of Corporate Governance 2004, यहाँ पे देखो क्या क्या बोल रहे हो लोग. The main recommendation of best practices in effective corporate governance. Corporate governance क्या है? In an organization normally run हो रहा. Okay, it is running. Organization is normally running. And to run it properly, what happens is there is one independent body sitting in the organization itself. जैसे कि for example, an auditor will come once in a year, audit and go. But this corporate governance will sit in the organization only to monitor the organization. Okay. Now, who are the people who would be part of this corporate governance? The members of the board of directors, both executive and non-executive. NED, याद रखो नाम, बहुत ज़्यादा यूज होने वाला है आगे. How directors' remuneration is decided and disclosed. The role of both internal and external audit. How the public as a legitimate stakeholder in the large company has the right to know how the company is being governed. तो public को पूरा information देने वाले कौन है? Corporate governance is going to provide that. All right, you guys there with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, move forward. Non-executive directors. Now, can you guys just write down this? Wrote down, non-executive directors are not employees of the company and have no managerial responsibilities. No managerial responsibility, meaning that they do not participate in day-to-day running of the organization. No participation in day-to-day running of the organization. Okay, what do they participate in? What's their role? क्या करते वो लोग? They should be independent first of all. Their strategy, NEDs should constructively challenge and contribute to the development of strategy. They should, NEDs, what should they do? Scrutinize the performance of management in meeting agreed goals. मतलब कि उनको push करो कि they should achieve the goals and objectives. Risk, satisfy themselves as financial information is accurate and that financial controls and systems of risk management are robust and defensible. उन सबको properly check करते रहो all the time whether it is right or not. See whether the risk is there or not. NEDs are also responsible for determining appropriate levels of remuneration for executives and a prime role in appointing where necessary remove and when necessary removing senior management and in succession planning. मैक्सिमम काम काम पे आ गया यहाँ पे NEDs का. क्या करते वो लोग? डे टू डे काम नहीं करते, लेकिन क्या करते वो लोग? दे आर इन्वॉल्व इन कंप्लीट मॉनिटरिंग ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. मतलब मॉनिटर बन के बैठा हुआ है वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर. गॉट इट?
Sir, how NEDs are choose, sir? कौन choose करता है उनको? कौन कौन
अपॉइंटमेंट आएगा ना अभी. देयर आर सम क्वालिफिकेशंस व्हिच यू नीड टू मीट. क्वालिफिकेशन इन द सेंस ऐसा कुछ एजुकेशनल पूरा बैकग्राउंड होता वो नहीं. Educational background matters somewhat, and somewhat independence matters. What matters? Independence. NED चूज करते वक्त ये देखते कि इसके 7 पुश्तों तक ये कंपनी से किसी का कोई रिश्ता नहीं है, इसके दोस्त एंड ऑल, एंड nobody is relative to the organization. He has no single interest in the organization. If that is so, then he can qualify as an NED and those type of stuff. Okay.
Okay, sir.
इंडिपेंडेंस होना बहुत जरूरी है. Now, what NEDs must not, मतलब they must not have been an employee of the company in the last 5 years. Last 5 years तक they should have not been an employee of that particular company. Have had a material business, okay, मतलब कुछ भी business वो लोग interest in the company for the last 3 years. Any business he has done with the company for the last 3 years, not appointed. He has participated in share options and pension schemes, तो भी निकाल दो. Have close ties with company directors and senior employees, निकाल दो उसको. Serve as NED for more than 9 years in the safe company, then say him goodbye. Okay, if any of these apply to NED, their independence will be seriously compromised and they should not be taken as a NED, non-executive director. वरना होगा क्या? वही हुआ जो गोल्डमैन सैक्स के साथ हुआ था, याद है ना?
हाँ sir.
वो at least half of the board should be independent NEDs, excluding the chairman of the board, who is often also an NED. A smaller company should have at least 2 independent NEDs. Question आ सकता है आपको ये. One of the independent NEDs should be appointed to be senior independent director. They are available to be contacted by the shareholders who wish to raise matters. It is also worthy noting कि वो लोग डे टू डे काम नहीं करते, लेकिन they are for the overall view. और एक क्या है जरूरी है बोल तो वन ऑफ द NED शुड हैव प्रॉपर फाइनेंस बैकग्राउंड एंड फाइनेंस नॉलेज. नाउ टेल मी व्हाट शुड बी डन. Mrs. X retired from the post of finance director at AB PLC a year ago. The company wishes to retain her experience within the company. Mrs. X wishes to continue her involvement with the company as she owns 8% of the share capital of AB. Because of this, managing director of AB, one of Mrs. X's close friends, has offered Mrs. X a close position, a close, what is that? कहाँ था मैं?
Permanent position.
A permanent position on the board as a non-executive director. As a non-executive, she will be offered 5% bonus each year if AB outperforms the targets. Tell me 5 reasons why she should not be appointed. Tell me 5 reasons why they should not be appointed as.
She has worked in a finance field.
Why should not she should not be appointed?
Sir, she should not have any close ties with.
Okay, number one, close ties. Second, बोलो जल्दी 5 reasons पूछ रहा है वो. What are the 5 reasons? Come on.
So she is a close friend of managing director.
Okay, she is a close friend. One. Next. अरे इतने सारे रीजन है, जल्दी जल्दी बताओ, क्वेश्चन के अंदर ही है.
She owns 8% of.
कितना?
Sir, and Mr. A has been a permanent employee, sir, last 5 years से.
Okay, तो permanent employee, finance director थे वो. Okay, this is 2. Third,
She has worked already.
तो second हो गया, already worked already.
She owns 8% share capital.
Yes. She owns how much?
8%. 5.
Okay, next.
Sir, then यहाँ पे has offered Mr. X a permanent position of on the board as a non-executive director. तो सर ये भी नहीं कर सकते हैं सर.
Exactly. क्या है? Mr.
Sir,
X?
close friend has offered Mr. X a permanent position on the board as a non-executive director.
वो तो हो गया ना, close friend का first point हो गया. Tell me more.
She is offered a 5% bonus each year.
Exactly. 5% bonus. Fourth हो गया ये. Next. बोलो जल्दी. और कुछ है? 5 reasons चाहिए अपने को.
Permanent position, sir.
Permanent position. क्योंकि permanent हो सकता है क्या ये? It is only for 9 years. Maximum 9 years, not more than that. Next. Moving forward, अब committees बना देते. Non-executive directors, NEDs मिलकर क्या बनाते? Committees बनाते. Now, committees in the sense, what type of committees is made up of a non-executive director? You can see here. It is an important principle of corporate governance. Understand this. यहाँ पे क्या होता मालूम? What happens in here is that in this remuneration committee, you're responsible for. Normally, किसका remuneration set करते हम लोग? Is nothing but the executive director. Yes or no? एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर्स की कमिटीज हम लोग सेट करते हैं। अब उसके एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर्स के जो रेम्यूनरेशन हम लोग को सेट करना है, how much will we pay them, when will we pay them, these all stuff. If suppose the executive director only is setting it up, तो फिर क्या होगा वहां पे, फ्रॉड होगा या नहीं?
होगा सर।
100%
Yes.
बिग टाइम प्रॉब्लम होगा वो। और क्या प्रॉब्लम होगा? what else will be the problem? और क्या बिग टाइम प्रॉब्लम होगी अगर रेम्यूनरेशन जो है सो वो लोग खुद ही सेट कर रहे हैं? तो दे कैन सेट लोअर बोनस लेवल्स, मतलब कि लोअर टारगेट्स अचीव करने पे भी दे कैन कीप देयर ओन बोनसेस, and if they do so, the organization will go down and that person will go up, and that will be a big time fraud also. It avoids agency problem of director deciding their own levels of remuneration. It leaves the board free to make strategic decisions about the future of the company. They can do it. Disadvantages of family remuneration come: scratch your back, I scratch yours. तुम मेरा सेट करो, मैं आपका सेट करता हूँ रेम्यूनरेशन। ऐसा भी हो सकता है कभी कभी, एनईडीज कर सकते हैं ऐसा, बट after all they are also humans only na, anything is possible in this time. Then comes audit committee. Pehle kya tha? Remuneration committee. Now audit committee. Now audit committee consists of independent entities who are responsible for monitoring and reviewing the company's internal financial controls and integrity of the financial statement. As audit committee acts as an interface middleman between full board of directors and the internal and external auditors. Middleman is the audit committee. किससे? Internal auditor, external auditor और full board of directors के साथ. Now understand this. This audit committee, he does not report to external people. They report towards the internal people only. All right, just give me 2 minutes. Now, moving on towards the responsibilities of audit committee. What do they do? Is nothing but review all the financial statements, accounting policies. What are they doing? Are there internal control system? What is their work they have planned for? What should be more improvements towards it? And what is the liaising with the internal external auditor is nothing but teaming up and seeing what is the best thing which they can provide to the external auditor. What are the best things so that they can do the external audit with complete independence and due care. That is what they would be looking out for. Now, external auditors do not have to report for frauds and errors to the executive directors who may be responsible for penetrating that fraud. In fact, internal auditors are unlikely to feel comfortable reporting system weakness to executive directors who will have designed the systems. Better they report it to whom? The NEDs, which is nothing but the audit committee. Then comes a nomination committee. Nomination committee is now typically when recommending appointments, the nomination committee needs to consider the overall size of the board as well as other factors such as various skills needed to be present on the board. Various skills needed to be present on the board. These are the people who can be taken. Mixture of executives and NEDs. The need for continuity in the board, which is nothing but there should be people who on a regular basis, on a continuity basis, and also have diverse backgrounds. Diverse backgrounds to improve organization strategy is highly required. I hope you guys would be seeing many board meetings which happen, maybe not formally, but in movies you would have been seeing board meetings happening. But understand this: whatever you have seen in movies on how board meetings happen, especially in Bollywood and Tollywood, 100% it is not going to happen like that. ठीक है ना? 100% it is not going to happen like that. वो एक बड़ा सा एक रूम रहता है, देखो बोर्ड मीटिंग के टाइप पे, कि एक nominate करते के I am going to nominate someone who is going to. Nah, I don't remember one Telugu movie. It is there. It was also made in Mahesh Babu, no, Pawan Kalyan's movie. I'm not remembering the name. If suppose someone knows it, can tell me. Anybody watches Telugu movie here? That's a very good movie actually. Some kind of will be there. Ke, I'm appointing my son, I'm appointing my daughter, I'm appointing someone who has done a masters of something from some London university, and he's coming back to India. He'll come and take over this business, and all those stuff will be there. That all shitty stuff is never going to happen in nomination committees and all. Remember that. Anything which you see in movies, maybe you would have seen it but not realized it at that time because you did not know about this. But now understand this, how committee nomination and all will be done, how nomination, that who's going to be the next director, who's going to be the next NED, who's going to be the next chairman, executive director, managing director, kaun hoga next. These all are to be considered and to be understood. Fine. Then comes public oversight. Now public oversight in the sense is nothing but publicly, is it right for the organization to do it? Okay, publicly, is it legitimate for the stakeholder in a company? This means that public has a right to know how such a company is being governed and how has a right involved in the government process. The public wants to know it, right? That is the reason you issue what annual reports on the financial statements, disclose the number of important matters. You do it there itself. Yes or no? Then such as role, action, duties, everything is done there. Yes or no? Now, you can see in there, while companies are required by law to send a copy of this information to every shareholder, most company will also post a copy on their website or will provide a paper-based copy to any member of the public who request one. तो उससे क्या होता है, anybody who wants the public oversight over the organization can come and check it and have a look into it. Yes or no? Have you guys in financial accounting, I have shown it to you, right? Financial statements and all, annual reports and all, in the previous starting few sessions I've showed it, right? It is the same thing available to public. Anybody can go and see it. Fine. Then some illustration which you guys can do it. Now benefits of corporate governance to the organization in the sense is nothing but thoda business success acha hoga. People will run according to the systems. Investor will have confidence because they believe into the system and invest in the system. Minimization of wastage because you will have proper utilization of resources when corporate governance system structures will be there into place. Listing requirements is nothing but business can be listed in the stock exchange at a faster pace if they do at that pace. All right. Then next comes very important thing which maximum organizations have already started, corporate social responsibility, CSR. Now you see many organizations are working towards sustainable development. Okay, sustainable development or using renewable energy. Those are the things which they are using so that they save the environment, they save this world at large, and make sure that what is there is good. जैसे कि the whole idea behind having this electric cars is stating that oil which is there, something which is beneath the earth, and let it be beneath the earth. That is natural resources, it is required to be below the earth. If it comes above the, or means the ground level, it causes only pollution, and pollution causes lots of diseases towards the environment, and that's a big time problem. That's what they are telling. But here renewable energy which is getting created, energy from if you see this person, kya naam hai uska? Bill Gates. Have you watched that particular documentary which is there available on Netflix, Inside Bill's Brain, in which he is traveling in Africa and getting all the sewage system right, and also creating a biodegradable gas from which electricity is created? Anybody rings a bell? Anybody knows about it? Anyone? Anyone? All are there or all are sleeping?
नहीं देखे हैं सर.
नहीं देखे हैं ना, तो ये सोचो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. Bill Gates has kind of, Microsoft is self-sufficient, self-growing. उसको छोड़ के he is somewhere in Africa looking out of what? Looking behind what? He is looking behind creating biodegradable gas by sewage waste, and also setting up the sewage system so that people can get that water also properly. Now people were thinking, what is this Bill Gates doing? Is he doing something which is related towards CSR? Bill Gates and Melinda auntie, they both were doing something like that. But then it was found out that he was creating something which is biodegradable gas, which is an alternative towards oil consumption. And I hope that you guys have also heard this Bill Gates and Melinda auntie getting divorced.
Yes, sir.
Recently.
Yes, sir.
What do you think? What is the major cause behind the divorce? Okay, let me just tell you. Is it personal or is it professional? Tell me this.
Professional. Personal, sir. They
Huh?
so they told that they are not growing as individuals.
Exactly. ये जो है ना बस शोबिस के लिए होता है. It is completely professional. Professional in the sense they can save maybe around billions for that, with that divorce. Billions are saved from taxes. There is a case study also behind it. I'll show it to you as and when required. लेकिन बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब क्या बोलूँ मैं, the sense of that happening is completely professional. But at times, sometimes it is personal, like suppose जैसे कि Amir Khan, I think so that's personal. There is Elon Musk, that's personal. Jeff Bezos, I don't think so it's personal, it's professional. Now let's move forward towards this sustainable development. Have you seen this? Adidas, what are they doing? They are actually making what? Shoes from what? From plastic. They are making shoes
Plastic.
from plastic. In fact, I've seen an idea which was so great, in which in a city in US, what they have done is they have used old tires. Okay, old tires, old vehicle tires. Tires की spelling की ऐसी की तैसी. Old vehicle tires, and with that old vehicle tires, what they have done is nothing but they have mixed it up and made roads out of it. Now when they have made roads out of it, what is happening is टायर से रोड बनी हुई है. जब टायर से रोड बनी हुई है, उसके ऊपर टायर चलेंगे तो उसकी रोड ग्रिप अच्छी रहेगी. द टायर एट विच यू आर, मतलब जिससे आप चला रहे हो, उसकी लाइफ, दैट लाइफ विल इंक्रीज, दैट टायर लाइफ विल इंक्रीज, road performance will increase, fuel consumption will go down, performance will increase. So many things are happening just by what? Making road with the use of tires. Yes or no? So that is kind of using something for the betterment of all. जैसे कि वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको, दिस लॉरी जो स्क्रैप रैप हो जाते हैं, उससे भी बहुत ज्यादा यूजेस है. कार्स विच गेट स्क्रैप्ड आउट, दे यूज अ लॉट फ्रॉम इट. देखो, कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इज देयर, corporate financial responsibility, corporate environmental responsibility. Environmental responsibility, making sure that the environment is not causing any problem. Okay. Then financial liability क्या, so that they give it back. जैसे कि देखो, you would have seen some prestige group or something like that making big housing societies. वो लोग क्या करते हैं मालूम? Just for corporate social responsibilities, what do is nothing but they make schools. They don't charge any fees for it. They'll make it for the needy, and when they make it for the needy, and they put it down also that this school is funded by so and so type of organization. All right, so and so type of organization the school is funded by. These all would be taken into consideration. However, the distinctions between each category can be blurred. और एक मूवी है ना, क्या नाम है, हैव यू वॉच दैट मूवी इरफान खान की, हिंदी मीडियम?
हाँ सर.
उसमें what do they do is nothing but they go to a school, and what do, they completely sponsor the school. Like
Yes.
that, there are many people out there who sponsor schools because the right to education. And this will not happen by the government, this will happen by the good people who are there in the society, good organizations which are there in the society. They will do it because that's the right to education, and they want everyone to get quality education. All right. In fact, in that movie, I really like that movie in which they promote something like that why don't you develop things from which you have come from and give the opportunity to those people who are underprivileged, and also giving the opportunity, it makes them feel equal, kind of a thing. If you sponsor that school, make that school much better, then why will a person go to an expensive Ivy League kind of a school? All right. Then you see meaning of corporate. Marks and Spencer is an example here. There are many more examples of businesses like Adidas we have taken. What do they do is nothing but products go, places go. In fact, KFC, every purchase you make at KFC, or what do they do is nothing but some portion out of it goes towards child education. बहुत ज़्यादा चलते रहता है ये. I hope you guys are getting it. फिर आ रहा है next, stakeholder need analysis. I hope you guys remember chapter 5 in which we did the stakeholder analysis, power interest matrix. It is the same. Who is key stakeholders, key players? What are their needs? What can we do for the betterment of all the stakeholders at large? In fact, you guys said that you'll make videos based on this stakeholder analysis, power and interest matrix. I'm actually still waiting for that. कहाँ है तुम लोग? क्यों बहुत बिजी रहते हो क्या कुछ दूसरे कामों में, जो भूल जाते हो ये करना? अगर नहीं भूले हो तो फिर कर दो. कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लो, उसके स्टेक होल्डर मैट्रिक्स बनाओ, स्टेक होल्डर मैट्रिक्स बना के किसका ज़्यादा पावर है, किसका ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट है, किसका कम है, किसका ज़्यादा है, थोड़े एनालिसिस करके भेजो. It is not required that we are going to publish that video or kind of a thing. We'll keep it for your own learning purpose. This will be your kind of, this will be pushing you. This will be pushing you towards doing better things and bigger things. All right. Are you guys there? Are you guys able to hear me right now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
So this will help you a lot in doing better things. Now you can see illustration 5, responsibility of business to stakeholders, something which is already understood and we've done it various times, talking about the stakeholder in chapter 5 itself. Then you can see in here importance of CSR. Okay, importance of CSR, you can see here. If there's a good CSR, it will enhance consumers, it will enhance businesses, it will enhance a society for a better living ahead. That will happen with it. An ethical approach to business will help to attract, retain good quality employees. Avoiding pollution, being environmental friendly can save a lot of money, etc. and stuff. All right. I hope you guys, everyone is following up. The last thing which we have in this particular chapter is committees. Why do you make committees? Nothing but जैसे कि नॉमिनेशन कमिटी बना लिए आप लोग, रेम्यूनरेशन कमिटी बना लिए, ऑडिट कमिटी. Why do we have? Tend to be permanent or at least long term, have authority, follow well established procedures, provide a way of making difficult decisions by involving key individuals and department. That's how they'll be getting proper results of the organization growing. All right, you can see here purposes of committees. For decision making purpose, you have relying decisions and instructions, brainstorming, free to exchange, generate new ideas, participate in problem solving, advice and information consultation. Those are the stuff which will be taken into consideration. These all, यहाँ पे क्या होगा, इन सब चीज़ों से क्या होगा, growth होगी. When in this committees, NEDs, growth is possible. I hope you guys are getting it. Then types of committees used by organizations. Executive committee, in which you execute all the work of the daily work of the organization. Standing committee is nothing but बस बैठे रहते वो लोग के कुछ ना कुछ काम करने के लिए organization के अंदर. Most of the time it will be doing work on a regular basis. Okay, now moving forward, what happens? Ad hoc committee complete a particular task, and then for that particular task a committee is made, and that is just for a limited duration. All right, then comes another subcommittee. This is simple, a subordinate committee comprised of members appointed by a parent committee. This could be to look into particular issue or as a way of helping the parent committee deal with its workload, or a committee spin-off में बनकर वो लोग they keep on creating so that they serve for the organization at a better pace. Fine. Then there are illustrations and all those stuff which you guys can go through, and test and understandings which you need to answer them. क्योंकि वो आंसर करेंगे तभी आपकी लर्निंग होगी, लेकिन वो आंसर तभी करना when you again read this particular material, then go ahead and answer it. Then advantages to committees: bring together individuals with necessary skills. Everybody has a proper skill set, uses it for the betterment of the organization at large. Decisions are likely to be made more easily because there are many individuals who are having proper IQ and all, they come into the picture. Disadvantages: committees tend it and make it slower at times. Making decisions becomes a bit slower. Collective responsibility means no individual is likely to be held accountable for the poor performance. Complete work are to be done by themselves. Committees tend to work based on compromise between various members. They may mean that they fail to recommend decisive action. Some experienced committee members may dominate and the committee may not be that strong enough. ये भी हो सकता है. That is a disadvantage of forming these committees. लेकिन ओवरऑल मैं तो ये बोलता हूँ कि ये कमिटीज बनाना एडवांटेजेस ही है. इंडिविजुअल्स अगर अच्छे नहीं है तो दैट इज इंडिविजुअल प्रॉब्लम. इंडिविजुअल्स को अच्छे से सेलेक्ट करो, देन यू विल नॉट हैव दैट टाइप ऑफ प्रॉब्लम. ऑलराइट, देन द की रोल्स इन कमिटीज यू कैन सी हियर. द चेयरपर्सन क्या करेगा? एबिलिटी टू बी डिसिसिव, अवेयरनेस ऑफ नॉन वर्बल बिहेवियर, स्किल ऑफ समराइजिंग, skill of in communicating rulings clearly but tactically, sound knowledge of relevant regulations, the ability to silence people in a firm in a friendly manner. These all things should be there by whom? A chairperson. All right. ये कहाँ पे, if you go to any BNI meeting type of stuff, you will find these type of thing. Now chair will be responsible. ये तो अभी हम लोग पढ़े. Then secretary, what should be the secretary responsible for? Before the meeting, fixing the date, time, venue, how the meeting are to be done. During the meeting, assisting the chairperson, making notes, advising the chairpersons on points of procedures. After the meeting, what's there? Preparing minutes. Minutes is nothing but what has happened in the meeting. Acting on and commuting decisions, dealing with correspondence. These all are the stuff happening in a roles of the secretary. Chairperson or the chairman should make sure that everybody is right. सब लोग जैसे बात सुन रहे हैं उसकी, he is the leader out there of that particular meeting. He has to address it, and the secretary would be doing all those work which is required by the organization, administrative work. Believe me, from chairman and secretary, you will also get a question in your main examination. I've seen students getting questions from here too. All right. So we have actually come to the end of this chapter, and most probably, I guess, approximately half or less than half we have completed our syllabus in this particular business and technology, and the upcoming chapters are not that big enough like how the previous chapters were, so we will be able to complete it before time itself, most probably by August first week or second week we'll be done. All right, anyhow, I want you guys to be aware about the fact that there are many holidays which are upcoming in the upcoming months, like next month we have a Rakhi festival, then we have Ganesh Chaturthi, then we have Dhanteras, Diwali. There are so many things upcoming. ठीक है ना? तो मुझे कोई भी ये नहीं बताना कि जैसा अरे सर अभी ये फेस्टिवल है तो मैं ये फेस्टिवल के बाद एग्ज़ाम लिखता हूँ, या ऐसा कुछ मत करो. मेक श्योर दैट यू ऑलरेडी नो दिस. ओके, ये लाइन से आ रहे. जुलाई आ गया ना, जुलाई के बाद अगस्त में, एम आई राइट और नॉट? टेल मी, व्हेन इज गणेश चतुर्थी? कब है? अप्रॉक्सीमेट टेंटेटिव डेट? यू गाइस देयर इन द क्लास और नॉट? जब से म्यूट पे था क्या मैं?
नहीं सर.
नहीं ना, रिकॉर्ड भी हो रहा है. ओके,
We are here, sir.
so these things are coming or not? These festivals are coming or
हाँ
not?
sir.
और क्या क्या है? कुछ
Coming.
miss कर रहा हूँ?
Yes, sir.
Anything I am missing? I was actually
No sir.
thinking about this in the yesterday itself. क्या परसों ईद है, ईद के बाद फिर नेक्स्ट फेस्टिवल क्या है उसके बाद ही? नेक्स्ट अगस्त में
सर
रक्षाबंधन.
राखी, रक्षाबंधन,
रक्षाबंधन, उसके बाद
गणेश चतुर्थी,
गणेश चतुर्थी, उसके बाद
सर देन दिवाली, दशहरा,
दशहरा, दिवाली,
Yes, yes.
फिर क्या है? क्रिसमस, न्यू ईयर. न्यू ईयर आने से पहले पहले ये 3 पेपर आपके कंप्लीट होना है. देखो, चाहे कुछ हो जाओ,
Okay sir.
अगर दिवाली से पहले कर रहे हो तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. दिवाली बहुत खुशियों से मनाएंगे हम फिर.
हाँ सर.
समझ रहे हो? दिवाली से तो पहले करना ही करना है. पेपर आपको एग्जाम खत्म करना है, सिलेबस की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं मैं, याद रख लो.
यस सर, यस
सिलेबस तो हम रक्षाबंधन तक खत्म कर लेंगे.
सर मेरे सर 6th सेम के एग्जाम्स हैं सर 9th of August से, तो वो खत्म होने के
मुबारक हो.
बाद ही सर.
हाँ हाँ, मुबारक हो, एग्जाम्स आपको मुबारक हो. लेकिन ये याद रख लो, हर एक का इंडिविजुअल अप्रोच रहना चाहिए. कलेक्टिवली क्लास में बैठो, कलेक्टिवली पढ़ लो, लेकिन एग्जामिनेशन इंडिविजुअली देना है आपको, तो इंडिविजुअल अप्रोच रखो. ठीक है ना? याद रख लो. ये नहीं हम भी साथ में कर रहे हैं, साथ में कर रहे हैं सर, हम साथ में कर लेते हैं, ये सब लाओ ही मत दिमाग में. ठीक है ना? बस एग्जाम लिखो, आगे बढ़ो, एग्जाम लिखो, आगे बढ़ो. ठीक है ना?
हाँ सर.
चलो देन, आई एम एंडिंग दिस पर्टिकुलर सेशन देन.
Thank you sir.
थैंक यू सर.
All right then. Tomorrow also we have a class, remember na?
या सर.
All right. Chalo then.
All right.
All right. Bye bye.